"Get out, you worthless," Dad bellowed. His voice shattered like thin glass, sharp, final, meant to wound. I remember more the spit landing on my cheek than the words themselves, and the heavy silence that followed. That was the real cut. Mom wouldn't even glance at me. My duffel bag weighed me down like dead weight on my shoulder. The scent of gun oil still clung to my hands from the base, and all I'd done was tell them I'd enlisted. They called me a disgrace, a failure, a burden they were finally done carrying. I didn't argue. I nodded once, stepped into the night, and shut the door behind me like sealing a coffin. Back then, they never asked what I intended to do with my life. They had no idea about the prototype hidden in my locker, the algorithm scribbled on a crumpled MRE box, or the investors I'd emailed during midnight watch shifts. They only saw a soldier. They never saw the engineer beneath. But this isn't where the story starts. I was barefoot on the marble floors of my Florida mansion, my mansion, when the past clawed its way back. The coastline stretched endlessly before me, the kind of horizon people chase their whole lives. The kind only attainable after a $38 million valuation. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Dad. His voice cracked again, but this time from age, not anger. "Son, can we talk? Something's happened." That something turned out to be bankruptcy. They'd burned through their savings, their retirement, their dignity. The world they'd built, status, reputation, a pristine lawn, was crumbling. Suddenly, they remembered I existed. There was a time Dad bragged about me, his smart kid, his future engineer. He handed me tools while fixing the truck, pretending I was helping. He told neighbors I was destined for greatness. But the day I enlisted, that pride vanished. He said the military was for people with no future, that I was throwing mine away. He didn't know I joined to escape them, to escape him, to create something of my own, not another extension of his ego. The betrayal wasn't a single moment, it was a lifetime of being weighed, judged, dismissed. Dad didn't want reconciliation. He wanted a lifeline. He slipped once in a desperate call, "We just need a place to stay until things calm down." There just echoed the same word from the night they kicked me out. Just leave. Just go. Just disappear. The worst part was realizing they weren't ashamed to ask. In their eyes, I owed them. My success, something they never believed I'd achieve, suddenly belonged to them. That was when the old anger transformed into something sharper, cleaner, a blade, not a flame. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I played the part of the polite son perfectly. "Of course," I said. "Fly down. I'll pick you up." 2 days later, they arrived, dragging suitcases as if they were already moving in. Mom hugged me like she hadn't spent 10 years pretending I didn't exist. They took airport selfies captioned, "Reconnecting with family, so grateful." I didn't correct them. I watched, noting every assumption, every entitled breath. They casually mentioned waiting for a check I'd surely write, treating me like a walking ATM. That's when the plan snapped together. Neat. Simple. I wouldn't destroy them. I'd let them destroy themselves. I brought them to the mansion. Let them soak in the view. Let them believe they'd won. They wandered through the halls like inspectors approving a property they thought they deserved. Then I showed them the guest house. Smaller, older, further from the ocean, but still more luxurious than anything they'd owned. "This is where you'll stay," I said. They didn't notice the cameras, the recorders, or the legal notices on the kitchen table disguised as casual papers. They didn't read the contract they signed, thinking it was a liability waiver. They signed without hesitation. But it wasn't a waiver. It was a rental agreement. Market price. 30 days. Non-payment equals immediate eviction under Florida law. They moved in, ate my food, used my pool, posted photos pretending the mansion was theirs. They never paid a cent. I waited 30 days. At dawn, I returned. The ocean mist hung heavy. I stood in their doorway the same way Dad once stood in mine. "Your month is up," I said. Dad froze. "Month? Son, we're staying until..." "No," I cut in. "You signed a rental contract. You didn't pay. You're being evicted." Mom went pale. Dad's jaw clenched, hunting for anger, but there was nothing to grasp. You can't do this to us. I stepped closer, calm, soft, vengeful. You already did. I handed them the official notice, stamped and validated. Then I returned the line he once hurled at me, polished and exact, like a debt finally paid. Get out, you lowlife. His breath faltered. Silence fell again, this time my victory. They left that afternoon. Bags packed, pride crushed. No dramatic farewell, no apology, just two people realizing the bridge they burned had been carrying them all along. Watching their car disappear down the driveway, I felt lighter. Not triumphant, not spiteful. Just free. They taught me how to survive without them. I simply returned the lesson.